Hello snowboarders of the internet. I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we'll be reviewing the Lobster Halldor Pro model. This board is available in 151, 154, 157, 159, 156 wide, and 159 wide. This board features Lobster's twin camber 3BT, so basically traditional camber, 3BT, and you get sidekick out in the tip, so it just kind of scoops everything out there, makes it a little looser around the contact points, but you still get that load and pop of traditional camber underfoot. I rode this board at Arapahoe Basin on a spring day that was sunny bluebird with a little bit of wind, and the snow was either frozen, fast and chundery, or lumpy mashed potatoes and slushy, depending where you were on the mountain. I also rode this board with my K2 Thraxis boots and my K2 Indy bindings. This board comes in at just a hair past the middle of the road, park all mountainish flex. You got a little bit of play out in the tips. Stiffest section is going to be right underfoot. That's just the way the carbon layup is. Then it's going to be a little softer between the feet, and there's really not that much torsional flex to it. Now, when it comes to stability, you're going to feel everything in this board except right underfoot, just because the way that carbon placement is. It's going to chatter at the tips, and it's just going to get bucked around and rutted out terrain. You're going to feel it in the middle. If you don't stay on top of it, you're probably going to wash out. It's one of those boards that's just, it's kind of lively, but it's not damp. It felt kind of dead, actually. Like, it just didn't do anything to stop any of that energy from transferring through it to your feet. There's some snap to this board, but it's not really mind-blowing. The camber profile itself is actually easy to engage. You just want to make sure you're flat so that way you're not elevated or twisted on that 3BT, but it's getting that flex point in the tail to engage and pop that takes the most effort. It's really weird. Like, normally when you're loading camber, you can feel if it's going to give you a fight or not. With this, there's no fight in the camber. It's just getting that flex point to activate and cause any spring. As I said, it's got some snap to it. It's just not mind-blowing. Obviously, this thing is supposed to be great on jumps. It's Halldor Helgeson's Pro model. I didn't really hit anything big with it. It wasn't mind-blowing. Got the job done. I mean, I assume you could hit just about any size jump with it, but for me, there's fucking better boards out there for it. So having the 3BT, the sidekick, is nice. You don't have to worry about the board hooking up when you're buttering. Now, the flex point in the nose and tail is not the biggest, and you really have to get your weight out over it, really leverage it, just be prepared to just muscle into it, and it's gonna fight you. It's one of those boards that it's not the easiest to engage. It takes a little more effort than it should. The same can be said about jibbing. Speed will be your key with this thing. Yes, you can nose and tail press with it, but go a little bit faster and press a little bit harder than you think. Sure, you can get sideways on a feature and it'll slide and it'll hug it. You just need to make sure that you're prepared to manhandle it. This board is super loose when you're carving with it. You'll notice that right away. When you look at this board and you're flat basing, you can see how abrupt that 3BT is and how those contact points are just so elevated, which means you've got to really leverage it over to get them to engage. And when you do, it's still loose. It never feels like it's connecting to the snow. It almost feels like you're steering right underfoot, which is weird because I have definitely ridden other boards with 3BT and not experienced this. This one, like, is just kind of death-defying. You're just sort of just like, is it going to engage? Is it not going to get engaged? What do you got to do with it? You know, I was able to do like some mellow turns, mellow carves, but if I was really trying to drive it, it was loose. It would wash off that tail. It never felt like it wanted to connect and allow me to drive and have that power, which makes me fucking wonder how Halldor hits big jumps with this thing. Like, is he riding one that doesn't have 3BT and just has sidekick so that way visually it looks like it's got 3BT? I don't really know. I just know that this thing felt fucking loose. Who's this board for? Halldor Helgeson. Or one of his fanboys, I guess. I don't really know. I'm not gonna lie, I've never been impressed with this board every time I've gotten on it in every iteration, and I'm still not impressed with it. It's so fucking meh. There's just better boards out there. There's better boards that fill this category. There's better boards in this price range. I was happy to see that they got rid of the asymmetrical version of this because that thing fucking sucked. but still, this board is just such a letdown because there's better boards in their lineup that they could have based this off of. I get that it's Halldor's Pro model, but I still question whether he actually rides it with this much 3BT, or if this sample just had more 3BT than it should. Yes, I was riding samples, I wasn't riding production. Get over it, that's what happens when you do product reviews like this. Comparable boards, the Capita DOA, the Ride Burnout, the Marhard Darkside. This has been my review of the Lobster Halldor Helgason Pro. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Do you own one? Are you going to buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications, that way you're not missing any of the content we've got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really want to support us and you want to see us just grow out what we're doing over here, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a whole video over there that'll explain it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.